So I didn't even intend this, but I matched the background today.
Oh, you do? Nice. You have on the Mason shirt.
I literally just grabbed this like 2 seconds ago, and that was the background you had.
I know. Well, of course, I'm in my sunroom, and it's always like 10 degrees colder in here, so I had to put on my my new crew neck.
I like it.
Yeah, from Jack Becker's. It's nice. But hello, welcome everyone to Pardon Me, Alex. We're starting a little bit early tonight. I know I had it set for 8:15, but we wanted to get it rolling. Just rip the Band-Aid, just rip it off. Talking about the game at GCU. We also have a special guest with us tonight, but we'll bring this person on. I'm not going to give any names away or hints. We'll bring them on.
Well, if you watched the game, you should have a pretty good guess.
Maybe. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll bring them on in a few minutes. But go ahead and do our regular intro and get this train out of the station. All right, let's go. And we back. So, quick story before we start. I didn't watch the game live because I was at work at the brewery. Had work all morning, all day, and then at 5 o'clock, I was off. And at 5 o'clock is when our friend's band, the 90s cover band Huffy and the Paintfish, taking the world by storm. Started playing at the brewery right at 5, and they ended right at 8. So I was only able to watch like the last kind of like part of the second half of the game at the brewery. And so it was I was already like multiple drinks deep. I'm not gonna lie. So watching it live with a bunch of our other basketball peeps was not the easiest thing because again we caught like the last maybe like 10-15 minutes of the game, but. Anyway.
So close, yet so far.
I know. And then Jacqueline rewatched it as well. I think you watched it live, but you said your feed messed up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I generally watch it back anyway, but I got like mixed up on one of the more crucial and I don't know what I'm trying to say, but arguable parts of the game. So I definitely had to rewatch that part a few times to try to figure it out and consult our in-house official
our that we don't pay for, but we keep him on staff just in case.
We keep him for a phone a friend. So I'll have a lot of breakdown on that. But anyhow,
can't wait to hear the breakdown. Honestly, so yeah, go ahead, Jacqueline. Tell us about our short little history with GCU because this is only our second year playing them.
Yeah, so this is only the third time we played them because last season we only played them once at home. Going into this game, we were 2-0 against them because last season we beat them at home. In January, we beat them at home. Last season, when we beat them at home, we beat them 71-46. It was amazing. It was such an amazing game. This season, we only beat them by 5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Their crowd is insane. I'm not gonna give away who our special guest is yet, but just a little reminder. GCU is a private for-profit university. So I know I saw a little bit of correspondence on your post on Facebook. I think Sarah commented on it. So they don't technically pay their students to come to the games individually. To boost attendance. However, they have lots of money to pay for marketing and all different kind of game day activities and promo items and all that stuff. So, I mean, yeah.
They have a budget.
Right. So they're not like handing the students money to moolah to come in, but like they're doing a lot. They can do a lot because they have the budget to do that. So all sorts of things to incentivize attendance.
Right.
2,000 students on campus and they have 70,000 students online. So they have lots of money.
And I'm sure a lot of those students who are online also probably live within,
Well, maybe, but I mean, you have to think also that's how they make so much profit is so many of their students are online, so they aren't having to put that money back into, 3 times the students are online that are on campus. So they're making money off those students that they don't have to necessarily put back into campus stuff because those students aren't on
Exactly.
campus.
Yeah.
Well,
I heard somebody kind of equate it the other day, or I don't know, I'm trying to think of who said it. They said it's basically think of a Power 5 budget in a mid-major school.
exactly.
Yeah. Was that Matt?
That's a good comparison.
Literally. It's exactly how it is. And so if people that are complaining and being, judgmental about our situation, like, you have to understand, like, they have the funds.
It's comparing apples to oranges.
It literally is. It literally is. And again, also, that is the culture that has been ingrained in that school for years. And they've had years to cultivate it, and they have the money to back it up, which, again, doesn't grow on trees, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just different. So just something a little food for thought when you're looking at their crowd.
Absolutely. All right. So quickly, I'm going to go over the standings and the seating for the tournament, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. So our current standings, not a lot has changed up in the top 5 or so. Just a smidgen differences. So Utah Valley 9-2, still ahead, but they have lost 2 games. Southern Utah 8-3, which they just lost to UTA, I believe. They lost, or Utah Tech. I can't remember. I don't remember. I think it was Southern Utah.
There's too many schools.
There's too many Utahs. Can't remember. Sam Houston, Seattle U, and us are all tied for 3rd at 7-4. Then you have Grand Canyon at 6-4, Tarleton at 6-5, and then it just kind of goes down from there. We have California Baptist at 5-6. Same with Abilene Christian. Then we have 3 schools on a 3-way tie at 3-8: UTRGV, Utah Tech, and then UTA. And then New Mexico State still coming in begrudgingly last with their 2 wins. Still bitter. Still bitter, Betty's over here about this. So that's the current standings. Moving over to the WAC resume seating. Again, not a big difference from what it was at the last podcast. Utah Valley up top, Sam Houston, then Southern Utah, Seattle U, Grand Canyon, and then us. Biggest thing is that obviously our past 2 losses have really dropped our total. Now we're at 1.08 WAC points. But again, the only good thing about this is that we're still pretty good at 6 at the moment, because the next person down at 7 in the 7 slot is at negative 0.48. So we still have a little bit of a, buffer there, but really can't afford to lose many more games. And so we just need to not, please, for God's sakes. We've already had to rearrange our travel plans to Vegas so that we could get there for if we play on Tuesday. Just saying. So you're killing me. Yeah. Oh, hi, Kyle. Yes. Okay. Yes. It was Utah Tech. So I'm sorry. It wasn't Southern Utah. My bad. Yes. It was Utah Tech. So Utah Tech beat Southern Utah. Okay.
Kyle, you did not say hi to the cat.
Kyle, say hi to the cat, please, so that Jacqueline can be happy and she can put the cat down. God. I know Kyle said, ooh, a special guest. I know. Well, which brings me to that special guest. I just tweeted it, and we're about to bring – oh, Kyle said, hello, kitty cat. Oh, God. Gotta love it. All right, so we're going to bring on our special guest. This person was lucky enough to be – he said I'm a dog lover, by the way.
Well, I have a dog, too. I'll bring her next time.
There you go. So this special guest was lucky enough to be able to travel to the game at GCU this past weekend. And, wanted to bring him on so that he can give us a little bit of a breakdown of what he saw and witnessed in person about the game, about the campus, just about everything, his experience when he was there. And just kind of fill us in on what he saw firsthand. since we weren't able to go. So without further ado, while Jacqueline starts talking about the game notes, we're bringing in the Matt Atkins.
What's up, guys?
There he is.
How are y'all?
We're good.
We are hanging in there.
Yeah, same.
Hanging in there. Yeah, I'm sure you had. Wasn't an overnight trip? You weren't there the whole weekend.
Yeah, no, I flew in early Saturday morning and right back on Sunday, so it was a quick trip.
Love that. So was that planned at the beginning of the season, or did you just say, you know what, screw it, I'm going?
No, I've been planning to go for a long time. As soon as I saw it was on Saturday, I told myself I was going to go because I've been wanting to go to a game there for a long time. Had my flight booked for a while. I booked it on Friday. With the ice storm up here in Dallas, I changed it to Saturday just in case it didn't get canceled on Friday. So,
nice.
Yeah, no, I was planning to go, and I was excited to get there and check it out.
Love it. Kyle says, "Ooh, look at that guy. He's big time now.
Big time.
Big time.
That's the biggest Kyle."
Yeah, Kyle's getting up there. I love it. So just a quick before we I guess go over the game notes. Maybe give us a quick little rundown of the campus that you saw before the game.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, when I got there, I wasn't aware that it was a closed campus, which I probably should have known. It's technically
define for us. What does that mean? A closed campus?
Like you can't. A visitor can't just walk onto campus. So I took an Uber from lunch to the campus. Just I want to go check out the campus, check out the facilities and everything. I get out of the Uber and a security guard basically runs at me, asks me if I have a pass or if I have someone to come give me a tour. I'm like, I just got to town, just wanted to check out campus, just walk around. And it took about 5 minutes of me just say, hey, I'm just a visitor. I just want to kind of walk around. He finally let me go. So it was fine, but it was just kind of took me by surprise that it was that. I guess it was that serious, but
so what's the time period before a game that people can show up on campus?
Well, so that's actually the weird part is I took an Uber back to the hotel. I changed and got ready. I came back, and as soon as I got out of the Uber again, same spot, people are walking into the area where the arena is. Same thing happened. Exact same security guard. He goes, hey, do you have a pass to be here? I was like, it's me again. I'm literally walking to the will call to get my tickets. Let me go. And he's like, all right.
Remember me?
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
That is wild. I mean, there are so many visitors, I would assume, that go to the game who don't go to school there currently. So, like,
I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty good size arena. I think it seats around 7,000. They've got a pretty high amount of season ticket holders on top of their students that fill up most of it. So I don't know that many non-GC people go to the games because it's pretty full most of the time.
So Kyle says because the campus is in one of the worst spots in Phoenix.
That's true. So that was one of the jokes I made, that it's basically the campus is basically like a resort. It's insane on campus, but as soon as you step off, it's similar to like going to a really nice place in Mexico, right? The resort's amazing. As soon as you step off, you might get shot. And there was a shooting across from the hotel on Friday where the team was staying at. So,
yikes!
Yeah, it's not a great part of town.
Yikes. That's wild. I mean, I did not know that it was a closed campus either. And when you sent us that, I was at first I was like, that's weird. But I'm like, no, all right, checks out, just because of everything that we know already about GCU. Like, I feel like that just checks out. Yeah.
I do get that, but I would just think on a game day within hours of the game, you should expect, like, okay, instead of approaching it that way, be like, are you here for the game? Can you show me some like proof of purchase for your ticket to explain why you're here? Like, I just feel like it could have been a lot simpler.
I mean, because hell, we're how many hours before the game, the Kansas game? Like, there's a bunch of us just like walking around Kansas campus, and the same thing at Duke, just walking around.
We walked.
Nobody cares. No one said anything to us.
We walked all over Duke. Nobody cared.
Exactly. That's wild.
Yeah, once I got on campus, it was amazing. Their soccer stadium. They had a scrimmage with Sporting KC from the MLS was in town doing a scrimmage. They had a baseball alumni game that I walked up into and saw the stadiums. It's they've, like you said earlier, they've got a lot of money for everything there. That's nice. Definitely jealous.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, when you said it looked like a resort and then I sent those couple pictures, I was like, Jesus, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, again, checks out. So yeah. Oh my God. Well, I'm again glad you got to go, and I'm really interested to hear your take on the game itself and what you thought about their atmosphere and obviously the game, the actual game too. So Jacqueline, go ahead and do your game notes, girl.
All right. So we had another different lineup today, or not today, Saturday. We had Trell, Nana, Day, JJP, and Rati starting. We did Blues 86-83. Their attendance was 7,095. So yeah, I would have to look up and see how many it seated. But you were right, Matt. It has to just be like barely over 7,000 because it looked pretty full on TV.
It looked pretty full on TV. Yeah.
It was packed.
Robbie was dressed out and did play, so that was good. I don't know how, but
no idea.
He didn't look in pain, so that's a win, I guess. All right, so Sean Kennedy's stats section real quick. Our field goal percentage was 48.3. Theirs was only a little bit higher at 50%. Our three-point percentage was – oh, wait, hold on. Our three-point percentage was 54.5%, which was higher than theirs at 50. Our free throw percentage was 91.3%. Theirs was only 76. Our points in the paint, we had 36, which was higher than them with 24. Our points off turnovers was 21, which is also higher than theirs at 9. Our fast break points, we freaking killed it with 25. They only had 9. Our bench points were 34. Our total rebounds, we had 31, which we did out-rebound them by 2. We had 10 offensive boards and 21 defensive boards. We had 27 fouls. We only had 12 turnovers. They had 15. We had 10 steals to their 2. We had 2 blocks, which they did have 6, but anyway. So our game leaders, we had both Day and AJ at 17 points. Day had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 2 steals. So something and everything. AJ had 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. We had Trell with 12 points and 1 assist. Nigel with 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. So I'm going to have to say for my player of the game that I had Day.
Yeah, I was about to say Day. I agree with Day being player of the game too. And Matt, you can give yours in a second. But sitting here looking at the stats and hearing all the stats again, I'm sitting here thinking we beat them on almost every stat line here. How in the world did we lose that game?
Yep, we had more buckets than they did.
I know. I'm flabbergasted. Like every single percentage stat line we beat them on, except for field goals. That was just slightly higher. Theirs was 2% higher. Everything else, killed them in the paint.
You know why? Because all those damn threes they made.
Yeah.
We didn't defend the 3 very well, especially in the first half. The lead they jumped out to was, I think they started out 5 or 6, something like that from 3. That was. You don't go after 3, it's going to be tough to come back in general.
Oh, for sure.
They made 5 threes within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and see that's the stuff I missed because I was headbanging at the concert. So that's just again looking at the stats. Just flabbergasted. But yeah,
that's the only reason we lost that game.
Literally, and I'm just shocked. But anyway, Matt, player of the game. Who do you think?
Yeah, probably Day, I guess. He's such an important player for us in general. He has to be out there. And I think a lot of times when we struggle in the season is when he's in foul trouble and on the bench. So he can do everything. And he's got to be our rebounder and everything else too. He had a nice 3 in the game, which he doesn't do too often. So
that's true as well. I agree. I would say good runner-up for player of the game would also probably be AJ too. He pretty much had every stat line as well. He was in foul trouble, but so was Day. That's another thing. That's another rough thing. The fact that we had multiple players in foul trouble, so that stunk. But yeah, wow, crazy stats on this game.
You score 80 points, so that plays. I think you're doing pretty good. So we had plenty of opportunities, especially in the first half. I think to probably push it ahead a little bit that we didn't take advantage of, and that kind of turned out to haunt us in the end. And I mean, GCU is good. I mean, Rayshawn Harrison and McMillan, those are big time players. They can both drop 30 when they want to. That's basically what happened. I mean, they both had, upper 20s. That's kind of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Ray Harrison had 28 and Chance McMillan had 24. I mean, and those were the only guys in double digits. The rest were 9, 8, 6, 6, 6, 5.
Well, and McMillan normally averages 9 points a game. That was his career high.
Yeah.
He had 6 threes. He was 6 of 7 from his 3-point line, and Ray Harrison was 3 of 5.
Yeah, and Alex, you didn't see it, but Harrison, he banked in 2 of those threes too, and I'm pretty sure he didn't call him. One I know was basically a shot clock buzzer that was.
Well, and one of them, he wasn't even trying to make the 3. He was trying to get a foul on the 3, and banked it.
I saw one of the bank ins because it was in the second half. So I saw one of the banked in 3s, and I'm just sitting there all at the brewery crowded around the TV, just screaming at the TV. Me and like 4 other people. Because it was so frustrating. I mean, literally banked. Oh God, that was the freaking heartbreaker dagger right there. Okay, let's just go straight into the strengths of the game, our feats of strength, things that we did well. Jacqueline, want to start us off?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I already said Day for my player of the game. He had some really great moves to the bucket. One of Trell's 3s, though, I have to say, it was like deep. And that big white dude who was guarding him, he like hesitated for a second, like he thought Trell was going to drive in. And I'm like, no, he's going to shoot it from right there. You better get out there. I loved it.
That's
It was so great.
I love again, when Trell releases that 3 and he's literally like half court, like almost to half court. And it goes in, butterflies.
One of my favorite things was how many I don't have that many feats of strength, and not because we didn't do stuff well, because like we just said, I mean, literally the only stat line that killed us was them making the 3s. But I mean, everything was good. There just wasn't any like, I don't know. I guess I was just more frustrated that we did everything pretty much well except defend the 3. But the fast break points at 25 was amazing.
Yeah. I was just about to say points in the paint. We're back up in the 30s where we like to see them. High 30s, even low 40s is like, we're good. We're doing well. And again, our offensive rebounds lately haven't been that great, but I mean, we had double digits this time, which is nice to see.
I was very happy with that. Nana and Nigel both killed it on the rebounds.
Which is something, yeah, exactly. Which
6 or 7. Nana had 7 and Nigel had 6.
Yeah. And the last couple games, Nana the last game Nana had none. Had maybe 1, I think. So that's a good improvement. Love to see that. I'm also really shocked. I think this is the second game in a row that Trell had 0 personal fouls.
That is a good note. You know what? I'm going to brag on AJ also. So, like I said, he was one of the leading scorers in this game. When we played GCU at home, he was our leading scorer. So he obviously, even though, I mean, they have a big lineup and it was hard for him to score, he finds a way.
Mm-hmm.
He is a gamer. I think he gets up for the big games, the big opponents.
I think so too.
I agree.
He performs well under pressure for sure.
Oh, definitely.
And that buzzer 3 at the end. So sad when it's like you want to celebrate, but it still didn't help.
I know, but that was such a nice 3.
It also either won a lot of people some money or lost a lot of people some money because the line was at 4.5. That took
it was, wasn't it?
I hope
hilarious.
some SFA fans some money.
I hope so too.
Although I guess they would be betting against us if that happened. I don't understand betting, so I'm gonna remove myself from that conversation.
I'm gonna remove myself. Big points. Another thing I'd like to mention were I know we've already talked about it, but the fast break points at 25. That's an outrageous number. I mean, their fast break points, they had 9 total. So love seeing that stat line right there. Just obviously showing the hustle that we had in that game. Obviously, I mean, we saw the crowd. Matt, give us some feedback about the crowd and the atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, I've been wanting to go to a game here for a long time, just to see the crowd, and I'd say it lived up to the hype for sure. I mean, the students. I mean, it's definitely. I put this through a Twitter thread earlier today as well, but it's definitely more of a manufactured type atmosphere, in that it's they kind of script a lot of it. They put a lot of planning into it, which there's nothing wrong with. It's 100% legit, and it's crazy, and it's what they do is amazing. I wish we could, do half of that, right? But it's got this different feel than, again, you go to Kansas, you go to Duke, what their student section kind of brings to the table. GCU, this is a little bit different. Again, nothing wrong with it. It works for them, and it would work a lot of places, and it's amazing. They do everything together. That, I think that's the biggest thing that I like about it, is that they know the games ahead of time. Like, if you go to the GCU basketball schedule, they have their theme game nights listed on every game. So all the students know exactly that Saturday was their God Bless America night ahead of time, right? So they can prepare for it. They know all of this going in before the season starts. They know where to go before the game starts. They had this big quad outside of the arena. They all go to hours before. They get in this one small little box, and they all go into the arena at one time. They have it all down, like, precisely to a T. Every element of their game day environment is, like, you could call it almost like a scripted movie, because they've got everything covered. Every organization you could think of was involved. The ROTC, cheerleaders, dance, mascot, video stuff. Like, it's like a professional event. Like, it's like going to like a G League game or an NBA type game, where the entire atmosphere, arena, band, like their band was probably like 50 members. It was massive. But they've got it all. They've got it down. They know what they're doing.
I'm so glad that you said that, because literally Alex and I had a side complaint conversation about our themed games, and I don't understand why we can't do the same thing and release a list at the beginning of the season, because I swear to you, they act like it is top secret classified information that they tweet like the day before the game or something. And people like me who are coming from out of town, I've already packed and have my stuff when I'm there. And then 2 hours before the game, I see a tweet talking about how it's neon out game. And I'm like,
yep.
I'm already here. I already have my stuff. Like, was this some big secret reveal that we had? Like, if it's supposed to be a promo thing to get people hyped, we need to know about it ahead of time, not like 3 hours before tip off. I just don't get it.
Yeah. And I know we're trying. Like, I know that the athletic department is working hard with the students to try to get them out and organized and all that. We have, basically what I said today on Twitter is that we have to show them what they're buying into. Like, we can't just expect them to buy into something that they don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So we need more, events and more things that they can do before the games, before the season. Show them. Like, show them, hey, this is where you sit. This is what you do during the game. This is what you don't do during the game. Show them what to do. Show them that's the party. Show them that is fun,
I was literally thinking that when I was watching that game and looking at everybody in the crowd, because I'm like, I mean, maybe they've tried this in the past. I don't know if they have, but I wish they would do some type of like pep rally thing to invite the students in, show them just what you said, show them where to sit, what they do, all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I wrote down in one of my tweets. Is like, we had that holler at Homer event for football games, for football season. We need to do that in the Coliseum, but market it strictly around basketball.
Yeah.
Have every freshman SFA 101 class in attendance, make videos to show them what a student section is, show them what our student sections used to look like, and tell them, have the coaches talk, have alumni talk, anybody that can talk, and tell them, hey, you're going to sit in that section, all of you together every single night. You can go outside in this little parking lot, tailgate, whatever you want to do for 2 hours before the game. We'll go in and have a party. We'll play music for you. Organize all of that up front before the season starts. See what happens in the season.
Man, it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
It honestly, I mean, it could not hurt. I mean, and sorry, I
didn't mean to interrupt, but obviously, like you guys mentioned, the budget that GCU has is, there's nothing that we can do to compete with that. It is a Power 5 budget in a mid-major league, right? So they have money they can put towards all the marketing, all the event stuff that I'm kind of talking about in the in-game experience. But there's still a lot of things I think anyone can do for themes, right? Just make up the ideas. If you can afford to buy, 100 shirts for students, perfect, do that. If not, let the students come up with it, but at least start planning these things in advance and to see how it goes. And then that way, once you start something, that's how things catch on.
Yeah, I mean, even for the first year, you're right. Like, if we can't afford to buy themed shirts for 100 students every single home game for boys and for guys and girls games, totally understand. Not a lot of schools can do that. But if you can plan ahead where you have maybe 2 games out of the year, those are your, cram the Coliseum games, and those are the games you give out shirts for, then those are the games you give out shirts for. And every other home game, the theme is whatever the students, can bring, like God Bless America, military, USA military, a camo out, black out, purple out, white out, something, throwback night. Let's do pajama night. Let's do, Halloween night. Everybody wears costumes. Like, these are things that students already probably either have a shirt for or have some sort of, like, there's a Walmart up the road. Go grab a couple, neon shirts, bright yellow, and call it a day. I mean, these are things that you can easily do. They're easy wins. We call them easy wins at the brewery. Like, what are some easy wins? And that's it. So, yeah, I mean, do we have the budget to compete with them? No, we do not. But there are easy wins we can do, by doing stuff like how Matt's been doing, the stuff, planning a tailgate for Heckler Hayes, what we're doing for the tailgate for, the CBU game. Like, these are things that we're planning and that we're doing, and we just need people to help us get the word out, and that's all we're asking. It's just wild. Matt, do you have any positives on your end from the game itself? The play, the players,
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played well. I mean, again, if you score 80 plus points in that environment against a team that's playing well, I mean, I'm never okay with losing. I'm a terrible loser, so I hate losing. But I mean, I thought we played well enough to win. GCU's play a little bit better sometimes. Yeah,
and I feel the same. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, we obviously want the win, but I'm not as upset about this as I am the New Mexico State game, because I knew going into this game that it's a harder place to play. And you said the atmosphere is electric. It's nuts. It's a hard place to play. It's like going to Duke and playing them, like, it is loud. It's crazy, like going to Kansas. And so I knew it was going to be a tough matchup, and we were just coming off a tough loss to New Mexico State. So that also is a hindrance, and it's hanging in there, but we played really good against a good GCU team. So
we did.
I'm not pleased that we lost, but I'm also not as bitter as I was with that New Mexico State loss.
Same.
Yeah. Any other positives before we move on to?
So I have a few that are just, I'm going to say they're more segue items because they're not really grievances, but me making fun of their commentators for a few things they said that were funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, one was one of Rob's comments, which was funny because obviously he was sitting right there in front of y'all, Matt. And so you could hear Chauncey yelling most of the time. There was one time in the first half, she yelled really loud because she's always on those referees when the fouls are not even. And she yelled something about the fouls being 6-3. And then there was a pause. And then Rob was like, the fouls are 6-3 in case you're
We're all very aware of the foul situation and numbers and everything.
At any time during any games, away or home, we know exactly what the fouls are.
Yep.
Thanks to Chauncey. Bless her. She knows.
I know. I was like, I always love that because it makes me feel like I'm at home when I'm watching the game on TV. I mean, at home as in William R. Johnson.
At the Coliseum. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
There's another funny thing that Rob said. It was one of the times that the refs stopped to, I don't know, deliberate about whatever, try to figure out what was going on. And he said, well, I might sound like I don't know what's going on. I certainly don't. But I don't think these three do either.
Yeah. That was a common theme I thought of too the entire night. I try not to say too much about officiating, but there was definitely some things that seemed odd or different. And honestly, kind of the way that they handled some of the situations I thought was a little unprofessional, but I'll kind of leave it at that.
Well, we'll go in depth on this.
Yeah. So yeah. The Rev stirring up trouble again. Rev, you came in late. Jacqueline already talked about this, but
so essentially they don't hand the students money to come in, but they provide lots of incentives. So
Definitely. That was exactly what I was going to say. I was like, it's very highly incentivized.
yeah, rewatch the pod later and you'll get more info on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to ask because I couldn't see clearly enough to tell for sure watching it on TV. It's okay. It's all right. We'll forgive you. But it looks to me on TV that like their hand sign looks exactly like hook'em horns. Is that what they're doing?
It's an antelope, so it's a little bit in front.
Okay. On TV it looked like this, and I was
It does
like,
in the front a little bit. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, are they doing the hook'em horn sign? Okay. Because I was gonna make fun of them if they did. Let's see.
Gotcha.
Okay. So as we already mentioned, it was their God Bless America night, but one of their media staff, I don't know who he was. I wasn't paying attention, don't care. But he was wearing like a button-up Hawaiian style shirt that was just blue with stars on it, and they kept showing him on the screen. And then one of the commentators he could not think of the word lay, and so he was trying to explain what the necklace thing around your neck, and I'm like, do you not know the word lay? And then he said he was trying to like make a correlation that he looked like he was ready to go to Hawaii or something, and he was like, put some of that that white stuff on his nose, and I'm like, sunscreen?
Probably how they do it in Phoenix.
I don't know. Just saying, you probably know these words, and the way that sounded did not sound good.
Let's put some of that white stuff on their face.
That sent me over the edge. I was
God
laughing.
Bless.
Then the final kicker that's just sent me completely over the edge was the camera zoomed in on one of their dudes who was dressed up like George Washington.
Oh, I love that. I did see that.
But the dude was like, oh, he's dressed up like Benjamin Franklin. And the other announcer goes, George Washington?
That's beautiful.
Oh, sorry. One more. This one was great too. So there was one point where he was like bragging on our defense, and he said, sometimes it looks like there's 6 players running around out there on the floor. But then later on in the game, he said it again, and he said, it looks like there's 5 or 6 defenders out there. And I'm like, well, there are 5 at all times, dummy. Like, what are you talking about? 5 or 6? Yeah, there's always 5. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. I'm kind of glad I didn't rewatch the game.
Yeah. Those are the funny ones, but I got some complaints.
Yeah. But well, then let's get to it. All right. One sec.
Segue in.
Oh yeah. Good segue in.
Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it. You.
Jacqueline, start us off.
Okay, I think even though I'm skipping a little bit ahead, I'm gonna start first with the tech on Robbie because
that's one of the big questions.
So whenever I was watching it, and like I said, my feed cut out like right after it happened, so I didn't get to see the aftermath. But Robbie had gone up and was trying to dunk it, was not successful, was hanging on the rim because there was a player standing under him on the other team, and they called a tech. So what I missed, which I'm sure anybody watching it live missed, because you were so focused on them calling the tech while he was hanging on the rim, and you're like, but that's okay, you can do that. So what I saw in the aftermath watching it back today, so while he was hanging on the rim, I don't even know exactly what happened, but the ball came back up there and it was like coming at his face. So he caught it and passed it out to someone on the like 3-point line. And the announcers were saying, oh, well, when you're hanging on the rim, you're not allowed to catch the ball and pass it back out. So that's why they called the tech. And I'm like, I've just never seen that happen. So I don't really know, because while on the one hand, first and foremost, he was hanging on the rim so that he didn't fall on their player, and that's A-okay to do. But second of all, if you're already hanging on the rim for your own safety, which is allowed, and then the ball comes at your face, like I don't really know what he was supposed to do in that situation. So of course I text my dad, and we have this long like text thread about it. So he was like, It's a crazy play. I can only equate it to a missed dunk. And if you hang on the rim and it bounces back up and comes back in, it's no basket. I think he should have been allowed to hang on the rim without a tee because he was in danger of injuring himself, And so I'm like, okay. But then I noticed in the aftermath about him catching the ball and passing it back out.
Mm.
And so I was like, is that allowed? And he was like, well, you're not allowed to catch a ball while hanging on the rim, but it's one of those plays that you don't see every day. And as an official, you hate seeing it. However, so really what they should have called, because you are not able to catch the ball while hanging on the rim, would have been like a basket interference or an offensive goaltending, because he technically interfered with the ball, but that would just result in the other team getting the ball back, not a tech. So that's what I feel like should have been called. However, I don't think you ever really see that happen that often.
I've seen it happen before, but I don't remember a technical coming from it, to be honest. I've seen someone on the rim, they missed it, the ball came back and they touched it. But I can't remember. I really don't remember a technical for sure, but I don't remember what the actual call was afterwards. But in this case, when I rewatched it, I don't see him on the rim at all. Like the first time I put a screenshot on Twitter as well. That I don't think that was the right call. Like he didn't touch the ball until after he let go. And if that's the case, I mean, unless the rule still says if you're in the air or something like that, that makes sense. But that's also not what the officiating crew told Keller. And they didn't actually tell him until after the media timeout. Keller had no idea until Harrison, probably I guess it was Harrison, was at the free throw line shooting the tech. Keller had no idea. They didn't tell him. When they did, they said it was because he was hanging on the rim while he touched it. So, which
is completely invalid because him hanging on the rim was to protect himself and another player. So yeah, I don't like any of that because I understand in the moment how that, because you're focusing first on him hanging on the rim, but that was a-okay in that situation. So I get that's not a call you want to have to make as an official, but they made their own call. And regardless, in something like that, especially if it's so confusing as an official, you got to nut up and go explain to the coach what's happening. Yeah. That's my consensus. Then oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I mean, one free throw didn't lose the game for us, but it was just one of those situations to where that call plus some other things that happened in the game. I didn't get to see Hawkins' technical from where I was seated, so I didn't see him. It seemed pretty clear online. People thought he did push him after the foul.
Unfortunately, Nigel deserved that tech full force because he got called for the personal foul, and then literally 2 feet away from the referee, clearly pushes the dude in the back. And I'm like,
and the problem that I have with that call and that ruling is that the possession goes back to the other team, right? So they got 2 free throws for the foul, 2 free throws for the technical, and then they got the ball back too. Yeah. They missed the shot luckily, but that could have been like a 7-point possession.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. But and then with the Robbie thing, I don't like the way that was handled from what I'm hearing you saying about what happened there in person, because obviously I'm going to be more skewed on this because of my dad being a referee, but like that's a situation where there are tough calls you got to make, and sometimes you might not even make the right call. But I just feel like, in my opinion, if you're a good referee, that's where you own it and be like, look, this is what we had to call or whatever. And you build a rapport of respect with the coach to at least go explain to him, like, this is what we're calling, why we're calling it. Because you have the final word. So make a call, stand behind it if that's what you're going to call.
The last thing anyone wants to see is the referees taking control like it's their night. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care what game I'm watching. I'm not there to watch the officiating. And half of that game, I felt like that's kind of what we were doing.
Yeah, like a ref show.
Yeah.
But to add on to that, my grievance about the commentators. So, and listen, I understand. We all know that Robbie gets fired up very easily, and obviously very confused about why he thought he was going to get a tech or whatever. So immediately after, 2 of the referees are like standing there talking, and he tries to go in to plead his case. And I'm just like, You're not helping yourself. But then one of the commentators literally said, "Oh, he punched him he punched the official," and I'm like,
Yes, he said that he punched the official, and I was like,
no,
what?
no. Literally, he went like this with his hand, like he was emphatically like motioning with his hands, trying to plead his case, but he did not touch the official. He certainly did not punch the official. I'm like, let's not get all heated up and say stuff that's clearly not even true.
Yeah. When I heard that he said that, or when I actually read it because I had the captions on it on the TV at the brewery, I was like, did I see that right? Did I say that he just punched the referee? Like,
yeah, that's
what game are they watching? Yeah,
Obviously, he would have been ejected if that was the case.
exactly, exactly, and as he should be if he did.
Yeah, no, that would have been end of the night for Robbie.
Done, absolutely. Yeah, obviously the threes were not ideal from GCU. It's hard to come back and win a game when someone's shooting, I mean, basically 50% from the 3-point line, and you got a guy who's 6 out of 7 from 3, just absolutely just destroying you on the threes, and then another guy at 3 for 5. I mean, that's rough. And of course, I just lost my train of thought. Personal fouls. Chance McMillan fouled out, and then they had 2 guys in foul trouble. But then you look at our end, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in foul trouble. And no, I can't. Yeah, 4 guys in foul trouble. And most of those guys are the guys who we critically need. Day, AJ, Nigel, and also Jalen had 4.
Yeah.
And that means that they probably sat for more time than what they normally do. I mean, Nigel played 23 minutes. AJ also played 23 minutes total. Day played 26 minutes. The person who played the most minutes was Nana, and he had 2 personal fouls, which, again, I will say Nana, positive for him. I know we're on negatives or grievances. He was 100% from the free throw line, which was nice. But anyway, Matt, anything else that you saw during the game that you have a grievance for, either on the court, off the court? I mean, the security guard can go kick rocks, so grievance there.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I enjoyed the trip, so no complaints other than not getting the W, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you have any? Did you go any good food places?
I went to a place called La Piñata before, and it was I tweeted up the day before asking for Rex, and someone mentioned it to me. I saw some pizza places, and I don't know, margarita and some Mexican food sounded good before the game, and it was okay. I gave it like a B+. Wasn't great, but
you could have read our entire list of places that we did from our food blog.
That's true. I could have.
Come on, Matt.
I should have thought to send it to you again.
I know. We both dropped the ball there. Could have been like, oh, here's the food for GCU. Next time you go or go anywhere without us, just remind us, and we'll send you the food list.
I have a few more grievances.
No, yeah, go for it. I'm sure that'll probably spark something in mine or Matt's head. Yeah.
But my last grievance on the officiating was there was a terrible missed goaltending on our end, and then literally next time down the court they call goaltending on us, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Inconsistent.
Let's see. Okay, this is just a programming note, but it is a grievance for me whenever I watched it on, because listen, with the budget that they have, everything on their stream better be perfect or I'm complaining. And when you watched it back, like on the little score banner at the bottom of the screen, it didn't have up the foul count. I'm like, how am I supposed to know how many fouls there are? Put it on the screen. You got all this money. Put up the fouls. Also, this is a very minor note, but I'm still going to complain about it because it's just weird. Usually, they'll put the number of fouls, and then, it'll say if you're in the bonus, and then if you're in the double bonus, it'll just say bonus plus.
Mm-hmm.
They put DBL bonus, and I'm like,
I did see that.
Why not just put bonus and the plus sign? It just looked dumb. I don't know. It's just weird. I've never seen anyone else do that.
That is true. I've never seen that. Double bonus.
Let's see. Okay, so that I got 2 complaints on Ivan on their team, Udrago. So number one, the complaint for us on him, that dude cannot shoot, but then we're gonna foul him and he's 4 for 4 from the free throw line. I'm like, yes, he's 2 for 8 from the field, but let's foul him and let him make some free throws because that's all he can seem to make. But my other one was there was a tie ball between him and Trell, and then he's immediately going to start like trying to talk shit to Trell after the tie ball. You probably missed that one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I did. If it was in the first half, I missed it. Missed it completely. Let's also talk about how we got Gabe, number 30, over here getting 12 rebounds on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. He almost had a double-double. Almost.
I mean, that's more than our offensive rebounds altogether. That was more than their
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's a lot of rebounds.
That's a lot of rebounds for one guy, and we can't even get 10 total offensive rebounds. Like, we have got to do something about our offensive boards. Got to do something, man. I mean,
that game was much better, so I'll be.
It was, so it's a step in the right direction, but I mean, it really showed its ugly head during that New Mexico game where we just could not get an offensive board to save our life. And then now,
defensive boards either. That's the bigger problem.
What now?
Couldn't get any defensive boards either. That's a bigger problem.
I mean, true.
Yeah.
Facts.
My last grievance on us, and this doesn't happen often, but when it does, it just frustrates me so badly because I just don't understand it. But when someone, I've complained about it a million times, and every time I see it, I'll complain, even if it's just once a game. Whenever one of your guards picks up the ball and gets stuck, come help him. I don't understand, especially when it's AJ. Listen, if he picks up the ball, he can't shoot it. He can't shoot a contested shot with a defender right in his face. Come to the ball. I hate it. There was one time he almost got a 5-second call because everybody's just standing around. And I'm like, maybe he shouldn't have picked up the ball, but that damage is already done and he picked up the ball. So come help.
That is true. I do feel like sometimes I'm not like get ahead of ourselves, but like is the right word or phrase, but like we just kind of forget that, sometimes our players do need assistance and help. And we're so concerned about being in the right spot or moving where the play is going. And you're forgetting what's right in front of you right here. And you need to go and help your guy out. You just get sometimes really caught up in the game and you forget sometimes the play that's called isn't what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm still mad about losing by 3 points.
I know. Okay. I just have one last, I have grieved about it before, but I'm just curious to get Matt's take on what he thinks.
Let's hear it.
Do you think that we sub too often sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. I know that's Keller's, thing. And I understand 100% why he does. And I think it does help in some terms. Sometimes I think he subs out some guys a little too fast. Sometimes I've said to myself, where is so-and-so who's been on the bench for a long time? Like,
yes,
the trail jumps out at me a lot of times. Sometimes when he'll make a couple of shots, Keller takes him out, but then it takes him a couple of extra minutes to put him back in. Mm-hmm. And I can't question anything that Keller does, but sometimes I think when you sub that many players that often, that it can be, harder to do on sometimes yourself.
Yes.
But
I agree. I think it can definitely be detrimental, especially I agree. Like when you're on a roll and you have a guy like Trell who might be getting hot on the 3, and then he hits a 3, and then you bring him out on the very next play. And you're like, but he's in a flow. He's in a rhythm. Like you're going to take him out and sit him for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Players in general need, they need the minutes to get into most types of rhythms, whether it's shooting or just defensive or anything. But I 100% get why he does it. But sometimes, I think you can still alter the game plan a little bit just to change it up.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just an opinion. I'm not knocking.
Yeah.
Because I know that he has a reasoning for it. that's just my personal opinion. I feel like we literally sub 2 to 3 players every dead ball. And sometimes my opinion is that it's a little too frequent.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think obviously you do it for good reasons to get some extra coaching into someone that maybe made a mistake, or I mean, that's why we have a good staff, right? So they can talk to their position players and talk to them about this, talking about the players regarding and things.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and another person that comes to mind all the time sometimes is Nigel. Like there's a lot of times he'll be playing so well in the first half, and then we get out second half, he's maybe in for the first few minutes or not even at all, and he's just sitting on the bench. And I'm like, he was on fire in that first half, and now he's just sitting there. So I'm like, what happened between first half, halftime, and now to where now he's sitting on the bench for like half of the second half? Sometimes just, and you're right. Like we have no idea, his brain and what's going on up here and why he does what he does. I mean, obviously we get some reasoning, but then there's some moves I'm just like, why, man? Why are we taking him out? Like he's on a roll, or he's hot, or he's just now getting into a rhythm. And so and also thing, I feel like it too, like it's the same thing with like hockey lines. Like if you switch up the lines so often, like the guys who play with each other, like there's no flow or rhythm within the team, and maybe they don't play with each other as often. And so they're not quite comfortable with each other and know where everybody's going to be because maybe they haven't practiced with that specific lineup of 5 guys very often. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I'll add just to be in the other side of that comment is I think one thing we got kind of lucky with those injuries is having some of those guys step up to play more minutes to where now they can do that. They can afford to have more subs in because, in the past playing, Derek and, maybe, Matt and some of the guys that didn't have the minutes or didn't have maybe they had a different role. Now that they got those minutes when everyone else was injured, they can step in different roles and different minutes now. So it helps on the other side too.
That's totally, it's a good point. It's a good point. So normally, Jacqueline, did you have any more grievances?
No.
Okay, cool. So normally at the end, we do a game summary. We pick one word to describe the entire game. Jacqueline, I see you already have yours on there. So why don't you go ahead and say it while Matt and I think of ours.
3s. That's the word. Trace.
I'll just go with tough. It's tough. It was a tough loss and tough to not pull it out when we played so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, crowd/atmosphere. Not saying that was what did us in, but obviously having a huge presence like that, I mean,
it's hard.
Come on, home field advantage, baby. I mean,
I think honestly we play better in those situations. I think we feed off bigger crowds.
I think so too.
7,000 seat arena with 7,000 fans versus some of the South End games we went to the southeastern Louisiana and they had like 20 fans.
Yeah, I mean, and again, not saying that was a good or bad thing. Just saying it's home court advantage for them, but like it's a crowd. It's an atmosphere. Either we play really well against it 99% of the time, and then this time we just didn't have it there at the end. Okay, so to finish things off here, talk about some upcoming games, upcoming events. Matt, platform, let's hear it. What's going on soon, coming up in the next few weeks here?
Yeah, less than 2 weeks now. February 18th versus UTA at home on Saturday. We're having our second annual now Hecklers and Hayes alumni game. This is a game that we organized last year, something that several of us have been talking about for a long time. We put it together to where any alumni is welcome, any SFA alum. Doesn't matter if you're an old Hecklers member, Purple Haze member, just any SFA alum, basketball fan that can get back to NAC for a student of the day type game. We get to have our own section, discounted tickets, discounted alcohol, which makes it more of a party, right? Everyone gets to come back and recreate a student section, right? The last year we did it to try to help the students and be next to them and be loud with them, but also show them that it's okay to be up. It's okay to be loud and have fun. And like we've been saying this entire podcast, make it a party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing it again. We've got some decent tickets already sold. So we got 2 weeks to go. But again, we'll have a tailgate. Tip-off times, I think 2 for that game. So we'll be tailgating earlier. Alumni associations helping. Breweries helping, of course. So I appreciate that. But yeah, we need more alums, whether you're in Nacogdoches or outside of town, come back for the weekend, have some fun. And yeah, that's about it.
Or even non-alums if you want to just
anybody. I don't care. Basketball fans in general. Bring your friends.
Totally. I mean, and we can attest to last year's event too. I mean, from our perspective, it was a great time. We had a great day, great weekend with people coming in for the game. Some people we haven't seen in a few years. I mean, I know that when I was a student, like being a heckler and then of course then transitioning to it being just the haze was some of the best days and games that I've ever experienced. Just a fun time being around like-minded, spirited, love basketball type folks and people. I mean, you can't beat it. And then if you want to, if you enjoyed those days, or even if you didn't sit with the hecklers or didn't sit with Purple Haze at a basketball game or whatever, and you just want to come and enjoy a basketball game for $5, cheapest thing in town to do. I mean, you can't do anything for cheaper than $5. I mean, well. But anyway, it's a great deal. Matt's done a lot of work to make this a fun day, a fun weekend. And I just don't see how anyone can beat it on February 18th. Like there's not much else going on. So
this is your time to come live vicariously and pretend like you're a student again.
Leave the home and come have some fun. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
We're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, we had a great time. Enjoyed reliving the glory days over in the student for the day section. And I really truly hope that if you're listening or you're watching later, listening later, that you'll consider coming down, even if you could just come for the day. Just come for the day. Come tailgate. Like Matt said, there'll be drinks, adult beverages, regular beverages. There'll be food. Right? There's food. Yeah.
Yeah, food provided from the Alumni Association. We'll get food vouchers for inside too for popcorn, $1 beer, $1 wine. I don't know why you wouldn't come just for that, to be honest, but
that's fair. I mean, even if you are not a big basketball fan, like I'm going to come for $1 beer.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Yeah. So.
And I was add that the athletic department should be putting some tweets out too. So they want to see this event get really big. Their goal is to have that entire section full from top to bottom. Within the years to come. So this is going to be a traditional event that we're going to keep growing. Yeah.
And I really, really, like I said, I really hope that people come out and support and hopefully even if you see us over there and getting wild and crazy during the game, you're like, wow, I want to go hang out with those people. Come on over. There's plenty of seats and rooms on each of our sides of us in that sections over there. So come hang out with us. Come hang out with us at tailgate. Again, even if you weren't in a heckler or a haze type spot in college, even if you didn't do any of that, if you're an alum, if you're a student, whatever, just come hang out with us and come get some free drinks and stuff at tailgate and free food, and then come inside and have a couple dollar beverages and come and help us heckle the heck out of the UTA Mavericks. Because why not? Why the hell not? Exactly. So that's coming up, and then directly, literally the weekend after is the CBU game, which will be on Sunday, the 26th. It's a Sunday fun day. Jacqueline and I are also working on a tailgate for that day, just mainly because two reasons. A, it's a nationally televised game on ESPNU, so we want to have a big crowd out for that, try and make us look like we know what the hell we're doing for attendance purposes on national television. That would be nice. So coming out for that, and also because of our homecoming award winner, auction winner, Richard Boyer. He's the mayor of the colony. He's a former SFA regent, SFA alum. And so he won our auction, and part of the auction was to tailgate with us for the day. The only day he could come was February 26th. So that's the other reason why we're planning a tailgate, is for our boy Richard. So we're kind of sure.
Worked out perfectly.
It did work out perfectly. Yeah, perfectly. So yeah, same thing with what Matt's doing with his tailgate. Working with SFA Alumni Association, get some adult beverages out there for free. Get some SFA swag. We got Ted Smith State Farm and Jimmy Mize from Commercial Bank of Texas to get some food, and they're going to be out there either barbecuing or making crawfish or whatever they're going to decide on. But it's going to be free for, I think, the first 50 people who come out. Again, free. It's free. There's no monies there. So come on out and enjoy some tailgating. We'll have Sean Kennedy out there with his tailgate games, all of his accoutrement, all of his things. And if you love to tailgate, if you love to hang out, if you're a student and you're listening, or you're an alum and you're listening, you're like, hell yeah, I love tailgating. We'll get your butt out there. Come hang out. We'll probably start around 2:00. Tip offs at 6, or earlier. Who knows? I might start earlier.
Someone else is pretty cool is supposed to be there too, right?
Yeah, Matt Atkins.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not that cool.
Yeah, Kyle's coming. Kyle McDonald. Yeah, Kyle told me, I believe it was earlier, maybe late last week. He goes, I think I'm coming down for the 26th game. And I was like, perfect. Guess what? We're doing a tailgate. And so Kyle's coming, and he was talking to me about potentially doing some live streams from tailgate that day. So that would be cool too, to do that. So I'm excited for Kyle to come back to town.
Me too.
Yeah. So those two events, Heckler Hayes reunion, and then the Sunday Fun Day tailgate with Jacqueline and I, definitely two of the bigger games that we need people at for sure. And then of course the Sam Houston home game, our last home game of the year, that first week of March.
Yeah, that CBU game, and people just need to come in general. That's a national televised broadcast. We can't mess that up.
We can't. That's my thing. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, what, we should be out like recruiting people to come, like, get pumped up for this shit now, man. Like,
no,
like, put it on your calendar now. Start doing $5 tickets now. Like, start hubbing it now, because if you start a couple days before or a week before, people have already got plans for that Sunday. So,
and again, the tailgate part, as Jacoby's dad would say, it's free, baby.
That's right. It's free, baby. Exactly. And same thing with Matt's tailgate. It's free, baby. You can't say that. You can't beat it. But yeah, so we have those two events coming up. And then, like I mentioned, next couple of games, we don't have another game until Saturday, I believe, when we play UTRGV at UTRGV. And then our next home game is on the 15th. And I'm trying to remember who we play. Tarleton State.
Yeah.
So next home game is on February 15th, Tarleton State, 6:30. Obviously, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. And then, of course, that weekend, as Matt said, is the UTA game, which it is a 2 p.m. tip. So yeah, we'll be tailgating. And then that also is the Mardi Gras celebration at the brewery. So hell, we can tailgate in the morning, go to the game, leave the game. It's only 4:00 at that point. We can go straight to the brewery and go get some Mardi Gras on.
Plenty of time.
We got king cake beer that day.
Ooh. I'm really sad that I missed out on Jerry's s'mores beer.
Oh, it was good. I know.
Campfire. Sorry.
It was good. But yeah, so that's going to be a fun day as well. A lot of stuff going on. Morning, noon, and night. Plenty of activities. And then we're doing a little get-together at the brewery on that Friday before the Heckler Hayes thing.
That's true. I forgot to mention that.
No, yeah, you're good. Yeah. So we're having a little landing spot if there's any people in town early for the Heckler Hayes reunion game weekend on Friday the 17th to come out to the brewery. It's half price flights, so $4 flights from 4 to 7, and come on out and hang out with us at the brewery on Friday night.
Game for the pregame.
Bingo. It's exactly right. All right, cool. So, man, lots of stuff going on, a lot of fun opportunities to come and support your Jacks, and of course your Lady Jacks as well. They're on fire. They literally just clinched, I believe, today with the win, their berth to the WAC tourney. So they are set. No issues here. I have no problem. I have zero worries about them. They're good. They're Gucci, as the kids say. So just got to work on the boys. Matt, are you coming to Vegas?
Probably not.
Oh,
I
man.
don't do conference tournaments. I think I've told you all that, right?
Yeah, you did.
When I started school,
You've said
every conference tournament that I went to, either as the 1 seed or as we made the title game, we lost every single one that I ever went to. So once I stopped doing that, we basically won every tournament after that. So I've made it a superstition and a thing where I don't do conference tournaments.
I always wondered, but
Yeah.
I understand and I respect the self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
I also respect the self-sacrifice, and I know it well because I do the same thing for the World Series when the Astros are in it. So I get
I
it.
should go back and recount my record, and it's just absurd. Like I'm telling you, like we didn't win a single game as the 1 seed or as in the title game that I went to.
So yeah, so the statistics and the data show that you just need to stay home.
So Brad Underwood was welcome for his titles.
It's Matt. Matt's the reason Underwood has all the titles.
Yep, just me.
Your name should be with an asterisk down at the bottom.
Right
You
next
should
to
have a special ring, honestly, at this point. Like, you should have a special ring because of that.
I mean, that is quite a sacrifice, I will say.
It's tough. I want to be at every single game, but
I know.
I know. I mean,
I understand what a sacrifice it is for you.
I couldn't imagine doing that for Lumberjack basketball. What I do for the Astros, like when the Astros are in the World Series, I don't watch a single game. And it's rough. It's rough. So I feel this. I feel this very deeply in my soul, Matt.
The tough one.
But bless you and thank you for your
Thank you for your service.
you
Thank you
betcha.
for your service. Exactly. Thank you for so much. Oh man, what a great episode. Loved having you on, Matt. We appreciate you so much. I'm glad you had a good time at the GCU game. Obviously, wish that we would have got the W for you, but what a fun little trip. Hopefully next season, Jacqueline and I've already talked about it. Like, we would love to go, of course, on a Saturday weekend game. We would love to go to maybe like a Utah game. Would love to go to the GCU and Arizona game if we play them at home in Arizona and there next year. So definitely want to do an out-of-state conference game next season if possible, because there's a lot of cool places, especially, like I said, I mean, if there's a Utah trip where it's like a Thursday, Saturday, maybe you can make it a long weekend potentially, like that would be really cool. So we'll just have to see what's going on next season. That would be nice.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, craziness. So again, thanks, Matt, for being on. We appreciate you. Excited for the Heckler Hayes reunion alumni game on the 18th. We're ready for it. And man, guys, don't forget, always support your Lumberjacks and Lady Jacks. Join the Purple Lights Fund. Get your tickets, season tickets. Come to the games. Wear purple. Be loud. Cheer them on. Support them from home as well. And yeah, don't forget to get your My Plates. Matt, do you have My Plates?
I do not, actually. I've thought about it.
What? Come on. Well, if you didn't know, you go to www.myplates.com/lumberjacks and you can get a $50 rebate. You get a 1 year, a 3 year, or a 5 year term, and a big chunk of money goes back to SV Athletics when you do that.
You should ask for it for your birthday or Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
That would be cool. I wonder what Matt's license plate would say.
That is a good question. I'd have to think on that for a pretty long time, I think.
I know. And then I would have to make sure it's available.
Yeah.
You could come up with something creative. I have trust.
Yeah.
I know. Like Matty Ice 4.
It's a lot of characters.
That's too many. I know. That's too many. You'll figure it out. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a cool Father's Day gift. Maybe we'll plant a bug in Tiffany's ear or something.
Yeah. We'll let her know.
Y'all do that.
We'll let her know. We got your back. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Remember to follow us on social media. Follow our personal accounts. They're on the screen here. You got my personal, Jacqueline's, and, of course, Matt's basketball account that you can follow. And if you want to follow his personal account, it's literally just his name, Matt Atkins. So you can do that too. And, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the things. We appreciate you. We love you. Buy our shirts on our bonfire. I added a couple new ones today because I was bored at work. Don't tell my boss. Oh my God. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, and there's Scotty, the attention whore, rounding us out here. Thank you very much. Love you, Scotty. All right, y'all have a good night. And as always, Axe and Jacks.
Without some jacks.